All right, let's talk about a problem that I'm sure a lot of you have faced. You write an amazing Python script, maybe for data science or machine learning, and you just wish you could turn it into a real interactive web app without, learning 5 new programming languages. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're going to love this. Today, we are diving into Streamlit, a tool that is absolutely changing the game for Python developers. You know that feeling, right? You've built this awesome data analysis or this really cool machine learning model, but it's just stuck there. It lives and dies in your command line. If you want to share it, you're sending code, you're explaining dependencies. It's just not alive. It's not interactive. Because, let's be honest, the old way of turning that into a web app was a massive headache. You needed HTML for the page structure, CSS to make it look good, JavaScript for any kind of interaction, and that's before you even get to back-end frameworks and servers, the whole shebang. But the Streamlit way? Well, you just need Python. That's it. Seriously? That's the entire list. So let's get into it. Let's see what makes Streamlit feel so much like a magic wand. Because it's really more than just another library. It's a completely different way of thinking about how we can build and share data apps. So what is it officially? Well, Streamlit is an open-source Python library, and it was designed with one very specific goal in mind: make it ridiculously easy to create and share good-looking custom web apps, especially for machine learning and data science projects. It's all about speed and letting you focus on the data, not the web development. And this quote just nails it. The core value here is speed. Think about it. Something that used to take weeks with front-end and back-end developers coordinating, you can now prototype in a single day. And the best part? You're just using the Python skills you already have. This completely changes how fast you can test and share your ideas. Okay, theory is great, but let's see the magic in action. We're going to look at how these super simple, almost spell-like lines of Python code can instantly create all the user interface stuff you need, turning your script into a real app right before your eyes. Need a title for your app? Boom, Stealth title. That's it. One command and you have a big, perfectly formatted title right at the top of your page. No HTML, no CSS, just that one line. It's honestly that simple. Now, for pretty much everything else, Stream.write is your new best friend. It's like a Swiss Army knife. You can throw anything at it, text, numbers, even complicated things like pandas data frames, and it just intelligently figures out the best way to display it on the screen. And if you want a little more control over your text formatting, Streamlit has you covered with st.markdown. If you know Markdown, which is super common for things like README files, you can create headings, bullet points, bold text, you name it. It's super easy. Okay, and this example is where it just gets kind of wild. You want to embed a YouTube video in your app? In the old world, that's a whole bunch of code. In Streamlit, it's just st.video, and you paste in the URL. Streamlit does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. It's incredible. So just when you think it can't possibly get any simpler, Streamlit introduces something they call magic commands. This is a feature that often lets you skip writing commands like st.write entirely. So check this out. Let's say you have a pandas data frame full of data and it's stored in a variable called my_dataframe. To show it on the screen, all you have to do is type the variable name, my_dataframe, on its own line in your script. That's it. Streamlit just sees it, knows it's a data frame, and draws a beautiful interactive table for you. It's magic. So, displaying information is one thing. That's cool, but what really makes an app is letting users interact with it, right? Clicking buttons, moving sliders, entering text. So now, let's look at how insanely easy Streamlit makes it to add those interactive widgets. And here's just a quick peek at the toolbox you get. You've got buttons to make things happen, checkboxes for true-false options, radio buttons, drop-downs, sliders for picking numbers, text boxes for user input, and they're all created with a single, simple command. So how do you put these together? Well, let's imagine we're building a simple BMI calculator. It's just 3 logical steps. First, you use st.numberInput twice to get the user's weight and height. Then you add an st.button. And finally, you just wrap your calculation logic inside a simple if statement that runs only when that button is clicked. It's all just plain, simple Python logic. Now, as you start building more complex apps, you're going to hit a wall. A very specific wall that everyone hits. And it all comes down to one question. How does my app remember things? This brings us to a really important concept called session state. I guarantee every single person who learns Streamlit asks this exact question. You build a simple counter app, you have a number, say 0, and a button that says Add 1. You click it, and the number becomes 1. Great. But then you click it again, and it's still 1. What's going on? It's like it has amnesia. And here's the secret. This is the one core concept you have to grasp. Every time a user interacts with your app, every button click, every slider move, Streamlit reruns your entire script from the very first line to the very last. It's what makes it so simple and fast, but it also means that any normal variable you create gets reset back to its starting value every single time. So what's the solution? Thankfully, it's super elegant. Streamlit gives you a special object called st.session_state. The best way to think of it is as a little dictionary or a storage box that survives between those script reruns. This is it. This is how you give your app a memory. And the logic for using it is always the same. First, you check, hey, is my counter variable already in the session state? If it's not there, you create it and set it to 0. Then, every time your button gets clicked, you just update that value inside st.session_state. Since that object persists, the count will correctly go from 1 to 2, then to 3, and so on. Problem solved. Okay, so we've seen how unbelievably fast and powerful Streamlit is. But like with any tool, the key to using it effectively is knowing what it was built for. It's so important to understand its main purpose so you can manage expectations and really get the most out of it. And this quote from our source material just says it all perfectly. Streamlit is the ultimate prototyping tool. It is designed for building something fast, getting it in front of a client or your boss, and proving that an idea works. It is not usually meant to be the final, massive, production-scale application that millions of people will use. For that, you'll probably turn to bigger, more complex frameworks. So let's just sum it all up. The key takeaway is this. Streamlit's superpower is rapid prototyping. It's about taking your ideas and turning them into interactive apps in hours, not weeks. Its strength is its simplicity. All you need is Python. And its purpose? It's perfect for sharing data projects, building quick internal tools, and most importantly, getting that fast feedback that lets you make your ideas better. And that really brings us to the end of our explainer. With a tool this powerful and this simple, the barrier between an idea that's just stuck in your head and a real interactive app that you can share with the world has almost completely disappeared. So the only question left is, what idea will you bring to life in a day?